Agastya. Who is Agastya? Agastya is a rishi, he is a muni, a sage, guru, siddha, father, and all of them. Who is this Agastya that we are talking about today? What is the story behind the statues of Agastya in museums all over the world? Is it merely another sculpture piece, just a work of art? Or is there any significance to the subject of that sculpture, Agastya? To know him, we must go back in time. Let us for a moment forget about our modern life ruled by televisions or cell phones. Let us forget about the hustle and bustle, the stress of modern life. Let us take a journey to the cold mountains of Himalayas and travel back in time, thousands of years ago. In the deep Himalayan subtropical forest, we see stately men with long beards sitting cross-legged here and there. Dressed in simple clothes, they have their eyes closed and are in deep meditation. They are oblivious to the freezing temperature. They seem not be aware of anything around them. For they are making the great journey within themselves and connecting to the cosmic knowledge that permeates this world. Just like someone tunes into the frequency of a particular station on the radio, these great men are tuning into specific areas of knowledge. From them came the concept of yoga and meditation. That is the most profound gift that India could give to the world. So, what did these rishis bring to the world? Almost every subject that mankind would need in the future. From them came knowledge of astronomy, physics, medicine, mathematics, aviation, and foremost of this all, theosophy. From them emerged the rich heritage of India that has been preserved for us through the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, and the epics of Mahabharata and Ramayana. We are talking about a period ranging from 1800 BCE to 1000 CE. If you take all these different sets of knowledge that was recorded by these rishis into considerations. So vast is the knowledge that they have given us, that the modern world is yet to completely discover all of it. It is here that we first begin to hear about Agastya. We find that he is the author of many hymns in the Vedas, including the oldest of the Vedas, the Rig Veda. In Rig Veda alone, Agastya is said to be the author of no less than 25 hymns. The most famous of his work is the dialogue between him and Lopamudra in the Rig Veda on pursuit of spirituality versus responsibility of a householder. We then see his work and name recurring on the next three Yajur, Sama and Atharva Vedas as well. We are now talking about the timeline of 100 of years covering all these four Vedas from 18,000 BC to 800 BC. The Vedas themselves have four subdivisions: the Samhitas, the Aranyakas, the Brahmanas, and the Upanishads. We find Agastya mentioned in all of them. In the Samhitas, we comprised of mantras and benedictions. We see Agastya's present in the Taittiriya Samhita and Kadaga Samhita. In the Aranyakas, which were texts on rituals, ceremonies, sacrifices and symbolic sacrifices, you will find Agastya in the Aitreya Aranyaka. In the Brahmanas, which are commentaries on rituals, ceremonies and sacrifices, he is found in the Aitreya Brahmana, Taittiriya Brahmana and some other Brahmanas. He is found again in the Upanishads, which were more philosophical in the nature. These texts from the Upanishads, focusing on meditation, philosophy and spiritual knowledge, were said to be composed in the time range of 900 BCE to 300 BCE. This timeline is already incredible and difficult to wrap our head around. Considering that at the most an average human can only hope to live up to 70 to 80 years of age and only a handful of life to their hundreds. Here we are talking about hundreds of years. We are talking about a person, Agastya, who is continuously mentioned in all these different works or is being mentioned in them. Then we come to the Puranas, one of the most delightful and popular works which came much later. In order to ensure that the great metaphysical truth were not lost in the great masses, the ancient teachers created stories that were both incredible and fascinating. Stories that privileged through the sands of time by the sheer magic that was inherent in them. Now, many of them today know that they contain hidden truths as well. These are said to have been recorded between 200 CE and 1000 CE. In between them, the Puranas run the whole gamut of the legends and life of Agastya in their many stories. All his incredible feats are listed here, including his birth, marriage and progeny. From the Puranas, we have different stories of Agastya's birth. We have one story that states that he was born of the mixing of the essence of Varuna and Indra in an earthen pot, that is Kumbha. Hence the name Kumbha Muni, Kumbha Sambhava, Kumbha Yoni, lot of names came after that. Another says that he was Agni reincarnated. Yet another argument is that he was the son of Rishi Pulastya. We never know the real story of his birth or advent on his earth. We have proof that he existed just by the very fact of the works that he had contributed to us. After all, how can a figment or imagination or a made-up fictional character prevail through the ages? We also know from the stories that Agastya was married to Lopamudra Devi, also considered as a great Rishiki, and that they had a son named Dhridasu. I know there are references of river Kaveri as Agastya's wife as well. So to avoid confusion, let me clarify, Lopamudra was Agastya's wife. Legend says that she died and was reborn as Kaveri in the south when Agastya was living in the south. So Agastya then married to Kaveri. But another argument is that Kaveri is just a river and Agastya contained her in his Kamandalu because she was arrogant. So coming back to Puranas, we find Agastya Gita in Varaha Purana and Agastya Samhita in Skanda Purana. The Malsya Purana and Padma Purana list him as one of the Sapta Rishis. He is listed as one of the Sapta Rishis in that. It was also around this time that the great epics Ramayana and Mahabharata were written. It was around 400 CE and we find Agastya's presence here as well.